I've been thinking about my position in this company as the leader, and I've been thinking about what are my standards and what are the standards I'm setting for my senior team to allow them to be on my senior team and continue to grow with me. You've got to be able to solve problems. As you grow a business, it's going to get harder. Every day should be hard. It shouldn't be comfort zone. You're not working in a business that's been established for 50 years. You're working with me. New style of meeting that I'm going to be bringing once a week to this team, and I'll explain as we go through the meeting what this is all about. So I've been thinking a lot over the last 3 months about this organization and about the future of this business and about how we continue to level it up. And obviously in the morning meetings I've been speaking a lot about standards, and I've been referring to the KPIs within the organization and what those standards are. And then I've been thinking about my position in this company as the leader, and I've been thinking about what are my standards and what are the standards I'm setting for my senior team to allow them to be on my senior team and continue to grow with me. Because I'm only as good as the people that I've got to be able to execute on the vision that I have. And have I ever sat with my senior team and set my expectations of what I expect from you and real clarity of what they are? Yeah, because I am the leader of this organization, and what I say goes, and what I want is what needs to happen. Yeah, and in a lot of cases, as a business grows, you have to have a leader that is a non-negotiable, that understands where he's going and isn't afraid to let people know what that looks like. And I've been analyzing each and every one of you guys, and I've been understanding what your skill sets are, and how far I believe each and every one of you guys can go. And I think it's significantly further than where we are now. But there are some standards that we need to lock down if you want to continue to be on my team and you want to work with me. And I thought the first thing to start with would be the traits and what my expectations are. Because listen, in business, I'm about business. I'm not here to be your friend. Okay, I'm here to make sure that this company thrives and that you are helping this company to thrive and you have a great experience and we're able to pay your wages and look after you and so on and so forth. But I have to like you as well at the same time if I'm going to work with you. I think that's quite important to me, and I don't want conflict with you. I don't want aggravation. I don't want to argue. If I say something needs to happen and it needs to happen, it needs to happen. There is a time where you can challenge me, but you must never ever argue back with me to a level that we fall out, because as soon as there is conflict there, then you'll be out the team straight away. I don't want that. Yeah, I'm not here to argue with people. I'm here to have a good experience and to make shit happen, yeah, and get results. So that's really important to me, and again, across the team and across this culture, I think it's really important that we're able to differentiate the difference between holding each other accountable and having a conversation and just straight up not liking each other. Yeah, and if that ever becomes the case, and there's nobody in this room that I dislike, okay, I like everybody in this room, but there is a fine line between being challenged back to me to the point that I will say, you're disrespecting me and you're out. Yeah, so there's a difference between the two. So I don't mind to be challenged, but I won't be disrespected at the same time. Yeah. So I want to give you some of the traits that I expect that I think are very, very important to me. Number one is loyalty. Okay, and loyalty and trust go hand in hand. Your loyalties in this organization lie with me first and foremost, and you must remember that. Okay, your loyalty is to the CEO. I am the leader. Okay, and your loyalty is not within your colleagues first. It's not within your team first. It's with me first. Okay, because like I said, in my senior team, in my close circle, and as this business grows, I will be keeping and growing and developing a strategic team that will work with me. Yeah, not work with everybody in the business. And at the moment, some of you are in a little bit of a translation period where you do a bit working with the team and you do a bit working with me. Okay, and sometimes you now work with Chris and you don't work with me, and and there's a little bit of crossover. But as we continue to grow, I will be segregating that out, and I'll be building out a team that works with me. okay, that isn't involved in the day-to-day, and then that team will filter down to the management team that runs the day-to-day, yeah? My next challenge is to build out and craft that team, and for me personally, that's not something that I've done before. I've always been in the business, even at Imperate scale. I was working with the management team, working in the business, but based on how we've moved over the last 3 months, it was a great way for me to step back and see what happens, but I need to be able to work with people that don't impact pulling you guys out, or if you guys come up, the people that are underneath you from being able to run the day-to-day, because we can't work in future state while we're also trying to manage what's happening on a day-by-day basis, yeah? So that's what I'm going to be developing over the next quarter, is my senior team. And that will be some of you, and that will be new people, okay? And so the traits that are most important to me is loyalty and trust. Whatever I say to you, and if I have something that is said to you, it must never ever go to a colleague. It must never ever go to your team. How you speak about me in front of your team, okay, is very important, that you have my back and my respect. You may hate me for what I've said to you and not like me, but you never ever go and discuss me or my behavior or my attitude or my style to anyone. Okay, because if you do, I see that as an immediate mark against loyalty. Now, Malvina and Chris have worked with me for many, many years, and they will tell you that my style and pin number 2 is trust. If you break it with me, you will never get it back. Okay, and once it's gone, you are finished with me. Okay, and that's the same in my personal life and my professional life. It's non-recoverable. Yeah, it's the way that I am. So please, if you want to work with me the long term, you never break it. I am very, very intense on this stuff, yeah? And I watch how people, because whether you see it or you don't see it, my goal always is to have everybody's back and make sure that you all thrive and everybody's protected, and I'm looking after the company. That's my goal, to make sure the company survives and the company thrives. But trust is so important to me, and the simplest little thing can turn me from being your biggest supporter and friend to your worst enemy, yeah? And the fact is, I'm not here to be anybody's worst enemy. It will just be simply, you're out of my life, gone, see you later, you're finished, yeah? And like I said, it's happened with a lot of personal relationships in my life and a lot of professional relationships in my life. So just understand that line and understand I'm not somebody on loyalty and trust to be pushed. Yeah, because those two things mean more than anything to me. Yeah, I've got here, have my back first. And again, I think this is important, because I haven't positioned myself by spending time with you as the leader of this organization and setting my expectations of who and how I expect you to act to be around me. I have standards that I've not relayed, okay? And in this business, I am not here to fight with my senior management team to then fight with the people. If I come in and say something needs to happen, you will all know that now by working with me that 95% of the time I'm usually right. Yeah, so what you need to understand is that Joseph's seen something, okay, and he knows that we need to go down this road. Because if we don't, okay, and you don't agree with me, not agree with me to then agree, not disagree with me to agree with me, but if you don't agree with me, it means you don't trust me. Yeah, and that might well be the case, and that's okay. But if you don't trust me, I can't be the leader of you. Yeah, and so that means, again, you're out the team, because you can't have somebody that don't trust me to make the calls, because I feel like I'm a 99%, I'm usually 100% on the calls that I make. So I need the people to trust me back to say, this is what needs to happen, this is what I'm changing it right now, this is what I've seen. You don't see what I see, and my job is to sit back and observe. That's what I spend a lot of my time doing. So you've got to have my back first, and you guys have got to trust me, okay? That's really important. If you don't, I'm never going to lead you to victory. And again, there's no place for us to work with each other if that's the case, yeah? Number 4 is resilience, okay? As we continue to grow, okay, don't wish it was easier, wish you were better. It will get harder. If I stand on stage and I say I'm going to 100 million, I want to go to 100 million. That doesn't mean that you do. And it doesn't mean that you want to take on the extra workload that I might be bringing in to get to that next level. And that's okay. But what you've got to do is voice it. Because I don't want to hold myself back based on where other people don't want to go. Okay? out of respect for you guys, okay? And I also don't want you guys to feel obligated to have to continue to try and stay with me. Because as business grows, the people that started with you won't necessarily finish with you, okay? And some people will get dropped off at this stop. And that doesn't mean you're out the business. It just means that you choose to or can't go any further. And again, that's okay. It doesn't matter, but the communication has to be there. And us spending time together, my aim here is to capture any of these problems before they become a problem. Because if you suddenly crumble, okay, and you lose control, then everybody's fucked. Right? Same for you, same for you, same for you, same for you. And again, same for me, right? So we've got to make sure that we're capturing this stuff before it ever becomes a problem, yeah? Within the business of, hey, why is that person not able to do that? Why aren't they getting it done on time? What's happening over here? Is it because the desire's not there, or is it because the skill set's not there? And we're only as strong as our weakest link in business, and that's from the ground on the level to the guys on the phones, okay, to the people in the senior management team. Yeah, it works all the way up. So it's really important that we know that and we're able to assess that and we're able to be open and honest about it. Yeah, because that's okay. But if we try and pretend that we have all of the answers and we just get buried, then on the other side of the fence, it looks like, from my point of view, that you're failing. And from your point of view, you haven't told me that you can't keep up. That might well be the case. So spending more time here and assessing this stuff, you know, over the last couple of weeks, over the last week or so, I think we've got into some fantastic detail and some other stuff that kind of, and it's about spending time together to get under the detail so we can see, because it's not about catching people out of what they're not doing. It's about going, my job is to know that you're about to drown and pick my hand in the water and grab you by the collar and pull you back up. Yeah, before you do. But I can only do that, okay, if we respect each other, we work well together with each other, I've got the information, okay, or it's never going to happen, yeah, and it just kind of causes more and more issues, and then it just builds and builds and builds and builds and builds. And we've worked too long and hard to make that become an issue, yeah, so we need to capture it. So resilience. As you grow a business, it's going to get harder. Every day should be hard. It shouldn't be comfort zone. You're not working in a business that's been established for 50 years. You're working with me. I am a fast-paced entrepreneur that wants growth and is changing all of the time. The person that you met yesterday is not the person that I show up today. I'm changing constantly. Yeah? So that is meaning that you need to be fucking tough to stay with me. Okay, and if you're going to keep growing and the business keeps growing, you've got to be fucking hardcore and know that success is uncomfortable. It's not an easy ride. It is difficult every day. And every new problem is an opportunity for growth personally, professionally, and for the organization. We don't see these problems as problems. We see them as challenges to overcome, to remove bottlenecks, to get to the next level. Yeah, so resilience is a key trait of being a senior manager, okay, and being able to climb up. And you've got to be tough, and you've got to be tough in front of your people, okay, and you've got to be tough, and you've got to be able to handle it. But also, if you can't, you need to have the conversation. But resilience is very, very important. So I want strong people with me that can take shit and keep moving forward, yeah? Keep taking shit and keep moving forward, because that's what growth is. It isn't fun in most cases. It's not pretty. It's ugly, yeah? And building a business is like laying on big lumps of clay. Bang, 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 onto the pottery wheel. And it starts off a mound of brown mud, yeah? A big ugly fucking lump of brown shit, yeah? But what then happens? We play the game, we spin the wheel, okay, and we craft it into a beautiful vase. But sometimes we squeeze too hard and it fucks up. Sometimes we don't squeeze enough and it comes out with the wrong shape. So we put more clay on and we keep going. But it doesn't start pretty. It takes a long time to make it look good and get easier. And with growth, in actual fact, running a small business from a 1 million to a 3 million is much harder than running a 20 million pound business. Why? Because you don't have the resources, the people, the systems, the processes. So the growth is where it gets easier, not staying where it's small. Initiative. Now, there are many things that can be fixed in a business if the senior managers are looking for problems to solve, not avoiding the problems and coming back with the same problems. And what I feel like I am very good at is stopping everybody in their tracks when there's a problem and fucking obsessing over it until we overcome it, because I am not interested in having the same problem for you guys, for me, or for the business, because I know, right, that the next time we sit down, we're gonna have the same problem. So when it comes to problems, I react, and I react fast, and I want that from my senior team. Again, being non-negotiable on my expectations of you guys. It's not, well, I don't work in that way, Joseph. Cool. If you don't, you're on the wrong fucking team, because we have to work together in the same way. And I set the way we work when it comes to problem solving, when it comes to senior management culture. That's my call to make. So you have to be able to adapt to those traits. Doesn't mean you have to change your style completely. It just means that some elements need to be a replication of how the CEO works, or it's a complete disconnect. So how we all work together, how our culture is, and how we adopt each other's traits, okay, is important. And again, as time goes on, it's not just about you adopting mine. I will understand yours, and I will work towards yours. I think me and Chris have got so much better working together over the last 12 months. I think for the first 2 years, there was a real divide in terms of our styles, but we've come together and we've benefited by understanding each other in a lot more detail about what he's good at. And we had a meeting the other day, and it was, there's a long-term view and there's an urgent view. He didn't quite understand why I was changing everything urgently, and I didn't quite understand why he was looking at it long when we needed to do urgent. So there's a mix of immediate stuff that needs to be fixed, and then stuff that needs to happen on the long term. And so when it's called in as this is an urgent problem, we've got to wrap around it now. We've got to wrap around it now. If it's this isn't business critical and we can afford to let these results slip as we let this thing roll out in the long term, then that's okay. But that conversation has to be had, and then we either come to a happy medium, or if I don't agree with you, I will say that this is what needs to happen. And when I say it, it's non-negotiable. Just for clarity, okay? I trump everybody in terms of reporting, in terms of shots called. And you have to respect me for that. And so when I trump the call, I trump the call. Right? And it isn't about the authority piece, but there can only be one person, okay, that has the final say. And if I'm the backstop, I also get to make the final call. Because if it all sits with me finally, I want to make sure that it's gone my way before it sits with me. Yeah? Cool. Next is high performance. High performance is important. Again, I keep saying it, we're only as good as our weakest link. And I say to everybody, well, what are you doing to get better? You know, I do 3 hours of personal development training every single day. On YouTube, books, I'm obsessed. I do it every day. And I get better every day. Okay, I do get better every single fucking day. And every problem that we have here in this organization daily, I don't go home, okay, and just leave it. I go home and fucking work a solution. So when you come in, I come in the next day with a new idea. Joe hasn't made it up. Joe goes and finds the fucking solution from the internet based on what other people's scenarios and problems are. So most of my changes and decisions that I come in to bring are informed. I don't make shit up. It might seem like it to you guys sometimes that he's come back in with an idea, but trust me, I am calculated and I do the work. I do the research. I understand when I make a decision that it's come from learning from a book, a YouTube video, a call. Okay, I put huge amounts of hours in outside of this to try and stay ahead of each and every one of you, because I have to be ahead of each and every one of you to be able to hold you all accountable, okay? And I have to stay ahead of these businesses' problems by doing the research to understand what it takes to grow a £0 to £100 million business, to understand the layers that come with it, to understand the problems and the pitfalls and the challenges. So what I want from you, again, it's non-negotiable to be clear, is I want you to be doing the development outside of work. What are you spending your time on learning? And some of you might say, well, I've got a life to live. I've got kids. I've got a family. I've got, things to do. I like walking my dog. And that's all well and good. But just note, when push comes to shove, if you want to walk your dog and I want to make 100 million, okay, the fact is, you will be dropped off at wherever you were left. Because what I won't allow moving forward is me to wait for you to catch up. Because I'm going whether some of you can stay with me or you can't stay with me, okay? And it's down to you to learn. But I will know whether you're learning or not, because again, I watch each and every one of you every day. I ask little questions that gives me an assessment to understand whether you've got smarter or not, or whether you're learning the same things or doing the same things. And I'm not asking you to do personal development because I am making you. I'm asking you to do it if you want to keep growing, yeah? Does that make sense to everybody? So I see this stuff as really, really important, and if I don't see it, all it means is there's a level that you can go to, and you're not willing to or don't want to sacrifice the other elements of your life to be able to go there. And again, what I want to do is not what everybody wants to do, and that's okay. But there is a journey that's happening here where we must all understand each other and what it is that we're looking for. Yeah, and when you understand what I'm looking for and where I'm going, you guys can start to decide now, based on how I finish this meeting off, how far you want to go with me. Yeah, and we can have conversations separately after. I think one-to-ones will be important off the back of this. To speak to each and every one of you so I get an understanding. Yeah, high standards. You know, I let my standards slip back in, I don't know, it might have been January. And I've referenced the call center because it's the perfect thing to allow to reference, yeah? And I let the calls drop so low that it made me extremely uncomfortable. I wasn't enjoying the experience. And me and Chris had a different version of what that expectation was. And this isn't knocking Chris and it isn't knocking me. But the fact is, I knew deep down that we should be doing way more. Chris had the opinion that we should be doing way less, okay? And the fact is, I know that environment more than I know Chris knows that environment, and I should have, at that stage, enforced it. And I didn't, and I let a couple of months go by until I said, this ain't fucking good. I can't work here like this. Yeah, it's either I come in here and I've got people that are actually pushing to achieve and everything else, or I can't be near you. Okay, I can't talk to you about this stuff because you're the way that you see it is so far from how I operate that I can't allow my standards to get to that level where I think it's okay for somebody to do 50 calls. Yeah, and so high performance is really, really important, and everyone in the senior management team must be a problem solver. You must come in and not be oblivious to what's not working in front of you. You have to open your eyes. Yeah, I call it the sixth sense. I see what a lot of people don't see. I read between the lines. I can see what's happening before it happens. That's the skill. Yeah, and I want you guys to be able to have that skill as well. Yeah, I want you to be able to have that skill. You've got to be able to solve problems. I don't want people in the team at this level, yeah, that are causing the problems or not fixing the problems. So you've got to be a great problem solver. And I don't just want these to be words, I want examples. And when I set up the standards of these meetings and the new agenda moving forward, there'll be some key points that each and every one of you will need to bring so I can assess and understand your ability to be able to solve the problems for the organisation. You'd have heard me talking about this a lot, execution. I don't like stuff that happens that doesn't churn out a result. You can tell me that you've built the best system, you've done, you've recorded the best video, you've had the best phone call, you've put in the best automation, you've, ran the best report, whatever it may be. If it has no result attached to it, as far as I'm concerned, it's gone in the bin and it ain't worth the paper that it's written on. Because what you must get is your ability to execute will define how successful you and whatever you're in charge of, becomes. And I don't like sloppy execution. What I can't stand is things being set up that don't get seen through because we can't control the detail. Yeah? So we need execution. There's no point setting something up and you don't fucking see it through to a result. It's just a complete and utter waste of time. And there are setters and there are executors. But if you don't have, and again, a leader has to have some general all-round skills. yeah? And the traits of, high standards, high performance, resilience, execution, great attitude. These are the skills of a leader. And you might be a leader in your niche of digital marketing, or a leader in your niche of setting up systems, or a leader in your niche of finance. But you must still have all of the rest of the traits to be in the senior management team, yeah? You can't just be good at the job at an experience level and not have the other traits and expect to be a leader or a senior manager within my team. It just won't work, yeah? So again, this stuff, action, execution, problem solver is non-negotiable. Now, Chris always says, you can't train attitude, and it's so important. I don't like bad attitudes, okay? And as I said, I will give everybody the benefit of challenging me. But when I say enough's enough, okay, and I say this is what's going to happen, that's when you back down and say, yes, Joseph, this is what I'm going to go and do, yeah? At that point, when I've had the final word, this is what's happening and this is what happens. I am not here to deal with your bad attitudes, if you've got one, okay? I'm not saying anybody in this room has one, but just for clarity, okay, I don't want attitude. I want challenging, but I want respect, and I don't want attitude. Can't deal with that. And some people have one and it will just never go. And we can't train it. And that's okay, but it's not acceptable in my senior management team, okay? And I don't want a bad attitude here. Bad attitudes breed problems, they breed negativity, okay? And they need cutting out of a business fast before they infect everybody else in the team, yeah? What we must never have in this business out of these meetings in here is any negativity flowing through to anybody in this team. And if you see it, sense it, hear it, you must tell me, yeah? So I can deal with the problem before it becomes a problem, yeah? It is a cancer and it needs to be cut out, okay? And it needs to be done fast, right? So that for me, attitude is, attitude trumps everything here that I've just said, yeah? Attitude trumps everything. So if you haven't got a good one, there's no point in having the rest of the traits, yeah? Because we will clash and we will not get on. So make sure that it's a positive attitude. And like I said, the difference between challenging and having a bad attitude are two completely different things. And then finally, it's about respect. And, there is a certain way I will let somebody speak to me, and when I say enough's enough, enough's enough. And if you continue to push or disrespect me or challenge me after I've said something, then, again, you won't be here for very long. So I don't want to be negative about these points there at the end, but these are my standards now, and you're all going to learn what my standards are, and I'm going to have these meetings, and this is a choice. Everything is a choice. It's a choice for me to allow you to be here, and it's a choice for you to be here. No one is holding a gun to your head. I'm certainly not, and you won't be holding one to mine either. So if it doesn't work, it doesn't work, and hopefully it works, so we can all go on and achieve great things together. Yeah? So these are the standards, these are the traits, these are the expectations. This business is going to go up. And it's only going to go up. And I put one of my key strategic priorities is to build a senior management team. I can't do it with managers of departments and then also asking for heads. We need to work on our org chart and our infrastructure to get these roles and responsibilities absolutely locked down. Yeah, I want to know that you know, okay, and I want to know what you see. And this is not going to be a meeting where I drill down into your performance here as to whether that's working or not. That's the morning meetings or the independent meetings. This here is about challenge overcoming, okay, problem solving and growth. Yeah, so all positive. We're not going to question detail. This is about questioning, effectively, what are we working to the future in? Yeah, and how are we working into the future? And again, it gives your opportunity to flex to me that you've got it under control and that you're smashing it and that you're moving forward. And, bring anything collectively. This probably questioning will last 30 minutes, and then we will spend 30 minutes doing a brainstorm, Q&A, support, and bringing the challenges to the team. Because I think what's really important, again, you know, we almost want what we did yesterday morning in the senior team on a weekly, so you're all aligned on how you can help each other, yeah, and how I can help you guys on the stuff that's causing us, you know, the challenges to grow. We might well be smashing it in Richard's department because that's where 95% of the attention is going right now, and Malvina might be struggling at the back and saying, hang on, I need some help over here. I've got all these challenges and I don't see you guys on a day-by-day basis. You ain't coming to help me, right? So it's an opportunity for us to be able to assess that and understand where the resources need to be allocated, so we're not taking our eye off the ball. So I'm making sure that everybody's getting a equal amount of time to support, because it's very, very easy to have a focus on you know, the front end constantly because it's such a high churn, high importance, and then we completely forget about your department where, you know, acquiring the customer and giving them results and upselling the services to them is what we're doing the acquisition of the customer for. Yeah, does that make sense? So it's making sure that we kind of identify the strengths, the weaknesses, the opportunities and the threats, yeah, across the business. Cool. All right, guys. That's it. We've got a meeting that's going to roll in forward. Like I said, today's meeting was just about speaking to you guys. It wasn't a discussion meeting. It was about letting you understand and know, okay, how I'm thinking, where I'm going, what my new standards are, what the senior team is all about. Yeah, I want you to make sure that you understand and see this as a team, not as a, you know, a business activity. This is us working together in this team to work on the business. Yeah, and that this needs its own set of rules and regulations, effectively. Yeah, to be able to work and get the best out of it. I will follow up with one-to-ones of everybody here. Okay. So make sure that gets log please as an action. That will happen over the next few days. And we will prep the agenda. It's going to be Tuesday, and I'll try for 1 hour. I may extend it to 2 if we see that we need that time and more time gets done on brainstorm. But I actually want to have time with you guys, not under pressure of we need to get through 20 agenda points because we never get to actually talk about anything. So I want the open discussion time where it's let's chat. Okay, what's good, what's not good, what can we work on, what can we develop, and it needs to be unregulated discussion, okay, that doesn't follow an agenda. Yeah, does that make sense? Yeah, so I'll have an agenda for the first part, then the next part is, right, let's chat, let's see what's going down, what can we fix, what can we solve, so on and so forth, yeah, where I'm not feeling the pressure of, hang on, I'm derailing the analysis of the KPIs by continuing to try and develop, yeah? I will delve into the cost further on the next meeting. We will be in a position very soon where we're going to be able to break this business down into profit centers. So we will understand each department, each cost, okay, what the overheads are, where we believe, again, like I've done with the people, it's, right, hang on, do we need all of this? We're getting, you know, we're spending £20,000 a month on milk, tea and coffees, events. You know, it might all be small stuff, but it all adds up, yeah? Do we need all of these softwares that we've got because one person might be using Asana to report something? The bill on Asana is nearly £1,000 a month. I don't know who's using Asana at value, and if it's not rolled out, why are we using it? Okay, that's costing us 12 grand a year. Yeah, so very, very quickly, okay, as each one of these stacks, we can start to save £250,000, £500,000 a year of costs. And if you analyse it monthly on a 450 grand overhead, it looks like peanuts, doesn't it? Yeah, oh, it's only another 800 quid. But if you analyse the collective annual saving, all of a sudden we're talking hundreds of thousands of pounds, and that hundreds of thousands of pounds saving could be the difference between having a bad March where we don't make any money, and that mitigates those losses, to being a, you know, another drain on the potential profits. Because I've said to you guys yesterday, there's 20 rolls of the dice. Yeah, and then if you look at this over a 12-month period, there's 12 rolls of the dice. Every month needs to system before. We've got 12 attempts to make profit or not every single month, yeah, as we roll through the year. So doing it as cost effective as possible without cutting costs in the key areas is important, yeah. We have Nick acting as a CFO, and he's taking over our business model. He's working very closely with Shane, so he will sit in these meetings with us potentially, as well as Shane, and we'll be able to get on top of the finances. And I want to tie you guys into that information so you know where everything is. And again, you see on the ground, where can we save money? Where can we improve? Where can we be more efficient? And most importantly, where can we grow? Yeah? Cool. All right, guys, I've got to roll into this next meeting now, so I'm going to say thank you very much for your time. Hopefully that's give you some good understanding of what's going on in my head. You understand the rules of the game now to work in my senior team. You understand what my standards are and what my expectations are, and you kind of know where I'm going with my work.